December, my feed fills with these contents.
Become unrecognizable by the new year. Start your winter arc now. Make these 5 changes before January, or nobody will ever love you.
Honestly, these contents always make me feel kind of anxious. Today, I want to offer you a softer way to close 2025. Not a productivity challenge, not a transformation arc, just a new way of understanding the work you've done and the person you're becoming. Because here's the truth. You don't need a dramatic arc by the new year. You probably already made a lot of meaningful progress this year. It's just not visible. Let me explain. For me, December is always the month where I start to panic.
What have I done this year? Did I waste an entire year without doing anything? Without moving the needle forward?
Especially on those days when it's already the afternoon and I can't recall what I've done today. Recently, there's one day when I was journaling, something clicked. Simply being alive is a process of increasing entropy. So entropy, in simple terms, is the measure of disorder or randomness in a system. And any system, if left alone, naturally moves toward more disorder. So your house is a system. If you leave the counter unwiped, if you don't clean the dishes immediately, eventually your house becomes really messy. Your body is a system. If you don't do any work to maintain it, grooming, working out, eating healthy food, you eventually will end up with less muscle, more fat, and bad smell, which is my personally biggest nightmare. Actually, entropy is one of the central values in my system. There's one point in my life that I decided every domain in my life, I'm going to follow the path that resists entropy. And that's how I'm going to make choices. So bringing back to my journaling moment, I suddenly understood why oftentimes I feel like I'm not moving forward. Being alive is like rowing a boat upstream. Just by staying in the same spot already takes a lot of effort. Because think about it, to live in a clean and aesthetic house, you have to make all kinds of administrative and creative decisions constantly to improve your environment. And that takes discipline, it takes planning, it takes good taste, and good taste takes time to learn. Yeah, there's a lot just to maintain your body to function nicely as you age, because aging itself is a process of moving towards entropy. What's the best thing to eat? And you have to figure out a workout routine. There's so many information about supplements too. I have to do my own research to figure out what's the best for me to buy. What else in life? Keeping your plants and animals alive, personal relationships, and of course there's finances. Just every domain in your life, if you want to maintain it, you have to put in a lot of effort. Just thinking about all of those is overwhelming. Life is hard, my friends. Not in the way that my life is specifically difficult, like I have a hard life. I know there's people living in Syria or Gaza. It's just that the game of life is a hard game to play if you want to play it well. There's so many different systems to balance. Zelda is such an easier game compared to life. Link never needs to shop for clothes or compare fabric composition to make sure his clothing are 70% or above natural fabric. He never needs to take cooking class to make sure his chicken turn out tender, because it always does. And then his heart will be full. He will just be like a and everything is all good. All of this brought me back to the concept of inner work. First time I heard about this phrase was from a girl that we met on our Peru trip in 2022. At the time, this sounded like some faraway phrase to me. It sounded a little bit woo-woo, honestly. I dismissed it kind of quickly. But this time around, this phrase resurfaced in a different way. In short, inner work is the invisible effort that changes the way you think, feel, react, and choose. It involves a deliberate process of exploring your internal world to align with your true self. It is the work that upgrades who you are, not what you produce. It's an upgrade of your operating system, if you will. Now that my thoughts are opened, I don't have to only count on the things that I produced this year. I don't have to only look externally. I can look inward. So if I count all the things I've achieved internally, there's a lot I can count. For example, I formed multiple meaningful habits this year. I finally established a workout routine. I finally formed a habit of morning meditation. And I have to say, I love it. I love a lifestyle with meditation. And then there's also the gratitude journal, just to write a few things that I'm thankful for every night. That makes me much happier before I go to bed. What else? Delaying an urge even by 5 minutes. Letting things be imperfect without spiraling. Understanding my blind spots. Interrupting self-criticism and replacing it with factual, neutral language. That's not bad, right? Another important one is creating memories. I count that as inner work, because everything you draw from, your thought pattern, your way of doing things, change from the memories that you created. Going on any trips, spending time doing something new in any way, that's creating memory. In the beginning of the year, I went snowboarding. So I successfully maintained my skills that I learned the previous year. I DJ'd at my friend's community gathering, and I got really nice feedback. And I ran my first 10K in my life in Charleston River Bridge Run as my grand graduation from Charleston. I moved from Charleston to Asheville. Don't underestimate moving. Moving is a very big life event, and it takes a lot. We actually completely redid the house. That is a lot of work, and I count it as a lot of accomplishment. And honestly, that's not very measurable. That's why we should have more house parties. Of course, there's Burning Man. It's a big time and energy consuming thing for us. This time at Burning Man, we are attempting to make a full-length documentary. Learning to make a film is a whole process, and that consumed a lot of time and energy, which is also why we haven't posted much videos on this channel. But that I mean to change in the new year. I didn't achieve the goal of reaching 10K subscribers this year, but it's okay, it's okay. Life, you can't control outcomes in life. What you can control is just your choices. We went to Mexico for 2 weeks. It was an epic trip with our good friends, so we got to spend time with our best friends and exploring new places in the world. That's awesome memories in my mind. And I learned a lot about cacao. It's one of my biggest interests, and we're making a cacao trip video very soon. So stay tuned. Since we moved to Asheville, we've been volunteering at the farmers market, doing gleaning. We built friendship with some new friends. We had more time to spend with family, because Paul's family live here. I feel like I'm slowly settling into the life here, and that is a big accomplishment. That's, once again, not measurable. Oh yeah, and this Halloween, I tried trick-or-treating for the first time.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween!
I'm the one giving treats, by the way. Although I really want to be the one that receives treats, because I grew up in China. I never experienced getting candies. But,
Trick or treat!
Oh, treat! I got a treat. Don't dismiss the concept in the work. It's not woo-woo, it's real. External things are for others to see, but there are a lot of things that happen in your mind people cannot see. They're how you spend every day with yourself. They are definitely tangible in a lot of ways. There's a Chinese story that I've heard since I was a kid. So there's 2 people, no, that's 4. There are 2 people wanting to chop a lot of wood during one day. And their teacher said, okay, today from the morning to noon, whoever chops more wood comes back, wins the game. First person got up super early, got up to the mountain and started chopping. Second person got up early, spent half of his time sharpening his axe. And then he went up to the mountain much later than the first person, but he ended up chopping way more wood than the first person. So to me, inner work is like sharpening your axe. But better yet, it's not even just for chopping wood, it's for enjoyment. Imagine the second person, while he's sharpening his axe, he's also listening to morning affirmations or pleasant music. He is in much better mood when he's about to go chop his wood. So inner work to me is not even just about becoming a more productive person. It's becoming someone who's happier. I actually encourage you to try to make becoming happier as one of your goals next year. If you did anything this year, that's just pure enjoyment and it doesn't produce anything, but you're happy as you're doing it. I think that is very valuable too. This perspective makes everything make sense all of a sudden. Because in the end, the truly end of our life, the person we become is the final product. Every task we complete, every habit we build, every memory we create, every choice we make against entropy. On the other side of all that is the self that we're continuously becoming. So, my friend, I encourage you to reflect on all the inner work you've done this year. And if you look closely, I bet you can find far more than you think. Okay? I'll see you next year. Okay, bye-bye.